Hey, straight out of our temporary studios in the Hudson Valley comes ESO on the Monte and the Pharaoh channel. So, hey everyone, and thank you for stopping by. But before we get going, I have to send a special shout out to my main men, Mike, Monte, and Jimmy Pharaoh. If it weren't for you guys, I would not be sitting here, and in your honor, I'm going to wear these sunglasses. Make sure to check them out live every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the Monte and the Pharaoh YouTube page, Facebook, and Twitch. They're also streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Reverb Nation, and more. So why am I doing this? I have no idea. Never thought I would be, but here I am doing this. Mainly an old school fan, but hey, since becoming involved with Monte and the Pharaoh, I've been keeping up with most of the modern stuff too. So the current plan is for me to co-host a show with our main man from Australia, Kriss Lee. Hopefully he's over in this square over here to my left pretty soon. So we're going to bring you some new stuff, that hopefully you haven't seen before. Kind of like Monte and the Pharaoh. We don't want to do the same old boring bullshit. We're working on creating some unique content and not some new stuff. And not some new stuff. And just new stuff. So in the meantime, while we're getting some logistics worked out with streaming from Australia over to here, I'm going to come out and give you some product. So since being on the Monte and the Pharaoh show, I've gotten some questions from the fans. They wanted to know a little bit about me and a little bit more on how I ended up getting involved with Monte and the Pharaoh. I'm going to do my best to answer some of them, and I got one that I'm going to leave till the next time I come out. So the basics. How did I get into wrestling? So, well, my grandfather was a wrestling fan. Wrestling was big in the Hudson Valley, and when he retired down to Florida, his neighbor actually was a wrestler named George Mathers. He and his wife Margie were their next door neighbors, and when I was young, I would go down to Florida and I'd watch wrestling, and I had a little bit of an insider view when I was 10, 11 years old. At that time, my interest started to peak, and my father took me to my first wrestling event at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, a place I will call a mecca, and people sent me messages before about calling it a mecca. I'm going to describe in the next video why that place is a mecca of pro wrestling. But anyway, so I got to see some cool stuff the first time I went to wrestling that let me know that it was scripted. But also, knowing my grandfather's friend, I knew wrestling was not fake. I learned that very, very quickly. So I'll get into more of that some other time. But that's pretty much it. Then I started watching wrestling, reading the magazines, reading the dirt sheets. I used to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning, or set my alarm for 4 o'clock in the morning because there was this TV show or radio show that you could tune your antennas into and hear some real the behind the scenes stuff going on. And that was way back in the late 80s, early 90s. So yeah, I pretty much was a big wrestling fan up until I got into my teens and I discovered real sports and girls and kind of came back to it in the Attitude Era where everybody else came back into it, and then dropped off probably around 2005, 2006, and picked it back up fairly recently, within the last 3 or 4 years. I had jumped in here and there throughout the years, but that was the when I really got back involved. So okay, so how did I get involved with Monte and the Pharaoh? Well, it all started, so I started getting back into old school wrestling and watching some shoot interviews, and then I found Boston Wrestling up there with Dan Marotti, and started watching Party with Marty and that train wreck that was, and then the Tony Atlas feud led me over to Monte and the Pharaoh, and me having a little small business, it was affordable to advertise, and still is very affordable to advertise with those guys, and from there I became friends with Mike and Jimmy, and somehow ended up as a temporary co-host when Mike was having some health issues. I was on there for 5 weeks hosting, and it was pretty cool. I got to learn stuff that I never ever thought I would ever know. Never thought I'd be hosting a wrestling show, and never really wanted to be in front of a camera before. So my first show, I to let everybody know, I've got a couple of friends of mine in a chat here helping me out a little bit so that I have some interaction back and forth because it's a little tough talking straight to a camera by yourself. So, and right now I don't have enough followers to have the chat going. So once we get there, I will be able to interact directly with you guys, and we'll go from there. But for now, I just got a couple of people helping me, and so my first show. I seemed a bit nervous, and but by the second and third show, I seemed more comfortable. Well, that really wasn't the case. I have to tell you, it is crazy down there. When I sat in that chair, I wasn't nervous at all. I was overwhelmed. So you have to picture, I have a computer in front of me with a chat room open and a script going. I've got Jimmy Pharaoh to my left. I've got a camera or a producer and 3 cameras and a monitor to pay attention to. So I'm trying to lead the show with the script because Jimmy he's reading along with the script, but he's not it was up to me to keep the show going. So I'm trying to read the script, pay attention to what Jimmy's saying so that I can interact back and forth with him, interact with the chat room, and then figure out which camera was going on at any given time. It was nuts. It was definitely a challenge. Wasn't really nervous, but I was definitely a little overwhelmed. Mike Monte is he's good at what he does with what he's able to manipulate there. But thanks to him, hopefully I can successfully produce my own type of show. So, okay. So at this time, I got to send a special thanks out to our sponsors. So currently, our newest sponsor for Monte and the Pharaoh channel is Manscaped. Manscaped. If you go to www.manscaped.com and use our discount code, you can get your own lawnmower 4.0. Or maybe you need some crop preserver. How about some crop reviver? Maybe a grooming kit. I've got a bunch of Manscaped products myself. I've been a customer of theirs for a couple of years now, and I definitely recommend it, and I'm really happy that they've come aboard the Monte and the Pharaoh channel. So you have to make sure that you go check them out at manscaped.com, and if you use the code word MANDP, you will get our discount. So here's some of the stuff I want to talk about. So how does everybody feel that Howdy angle is doing? Is anybody dumbfounded that 3 months later we've gotten nowhere with this angle except for Howdy changing forms 3 times? And at this point, no matter who it is, it's going to be a letdown. Here's my opinion. Bray is no Undertaker. Bray is a great talent, but right now, supernatural stuff really doesn't belong in the WWE. What's next? Are we going to have Harry Potter come out and on a broomstick and feud with the Dementors in a steel cage match? Come on. This is crazy. It's stupid. The Alexa part is absolutely unwatchable. This upcoming Lights Out match with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt, I'm sorry. I have absolutely zero urge to watch it. I saw dumb blindfolded matches back in the 80s and 90s, and that's what it reminds me of. And honestly, it better bring something special, or else I don't even know what to say. It's just horrible. I love Bray Wyatt. I thought he was a great talent. I hate this angle at this point. It's dumb. Bray should have been in the ring 2 months ago. Not we're 3 months, 4 months into this, and we're nowhere. I'm just too frustrated with it. I'm going to move on. So into another one that kind of annoys me, but this is something that I've been on before. And when I was on Monte and the Pharaoh, I brought it up with Jimmy. I'm tired of Edge coming back, and now he's slated for his latest comeback. And if you want to know how I feel about it, let's see. I'll bring up ESO and Pharaoh talking about Edge. So, what did you think of Raw this week?
Raw overall was good. I mean, the shows overall are pretty good. I'm pleased with what Triple H has done overall since he came back. Why, did you have an issue with anybody in general, or?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I think SmackDown was booked a little better this week.
Well, it better be. It's on a bigger forum.
And then, but Raw, I was a little disappointed to see Edge come back again.
Why?
Well, let's see. I didn't pop because he just came back at SummerSlam.
Okay.
And then 3 months before that, we had all the vignettes building up to him and his return at WrestleMania. And
Okay.
I just feel like 3 times returning in a year.
Okay.
Going to the well a little bit too often.
Interesting. I understand what you're getting at, but you did notice one thing, though. Each time he comes back, the place goes berserk. You know why? Because, and I think we discussed this briefly earlier today, but as we were getting ready to do the show, I find this very interesting because apparently Edge has studied The Undertaker's blueprint for when you retire, but don't really truly retire.
You come back for that payday.
And you come back, and you wait a little while, and you come back, and they mark out, and you wait a little while, and he seems to be following The Undertaker's consistent, weekly, type career. He's doing this right, to tell you the truth. I don't mind seeing him come back and do this. It's a great storyline. It's been going on more and more, and they're growing that crop pretty nicely now with Priest and Finn Balor. I think having Finn in charge of it is awesome. I love what they're doing with Finn Balor. So I am very happy. I'm a big time Finn Balor fan. Sorry, always have been.
No, I just, with going back to Edge, it just seems like he said he's retiring next year. So this gives him like 3-4 more times that he can come back.
You think so? You think he'll come back 3 or 4 more times?
I don't know. 3 times this year.
What's the next major event? Where are we? Well, we got to have him for Survivor Series.
Yeah, and then he can go
You
away.
think he's going to go away? Wait a minute. You think he's going to go away like in a week or something and then come back for, hey, I'm back for Survivor, pop again. You know what? It might work. It worked for Taker. When will the fans ever get tired of Edge anyway? And what is it about Edge that makes him so lovable? Did you ever think about that? Because I wasn't a huge Edge fan.
No, I did like the 3-second pose.
That was
him
funny.
and Christian. That was funny.
That's tag team, though. As far as Edge, the solo career, the world champion legend Edge, did he ever really?
No, it was
interesting. Same here. That's weird.
He's great. I mean,
I do think he's great, but I never ran out and said I've got to have a T-shirt.
No.
I wonder why that is. Randy Orton, same category?
No, nowhere near.
Okay, you like Randy Orton?
I think Randy Orton. I mean, he is already a legend.
Yeah,
I mean,
he is.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Did you have a Randy Orton T-shirt back in the day?
No, but I would be more likely to have a Randy Orton shirt than an Edge shirt.
Who do you think sells more shirts, though? I bet you it's Edge.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wow, strange. Yeah, I'm with you on the Orton thing. I would rather have Randy Orton too, but Edge has got the box office draw. So there's your answer. Doesn't matter how many times he comes back, the fans are going to mark out all over the place. He's Edge.
Okay, and welcome back. So as you can see, ESO is not really a big fan of Edge. So we'll see how this all plays out. And now the worst idea I heard of him, rumor booking idea I heard from him about him was that they were going to put him as Uncle Howdy. How bad would that be? So next thing I got for you guys. So being that Sami Zayn is an honorary Uso, and he's just overly Usy, should the Usos invoke the Freebird rule for title defenses? I think this would be a perfect way to get the titles off of the Usos and having the tension for Sami peak. So would they be able to survive if Jey Uso gets hurt and Jimmy and Sami have to defend the title and somehow Sami gets pinned? Do you think Jey would ever forgive him? This could be a great way to break up the bloodline. How about if we had Jimmy stay and support Sami, and Jey leaves the bloodline, and now we've got Jey and Owens against Sami and Jimmy for the titles at WrestleMania. Come on, how big of a great of a swerve would that be? Nah. How would The Rock approve of Sami being a part of this bloodline? Would Roman stick with Sami if Sami helped lose those tag team titles? Well, everybody, how do you guys feel? So I just thought that would be a kind of a funny angle. Oh, okay. So one of my friends in here just piped up with something about the Undertaker. Bray Wyatt is no Undertaker. he says that the supernatural stuff did get over. It got over for 30 plus years with the Undertaker. I don't care. The Bray Wyatt is not the Undertaker, and I will tell you now that the Undertaker and his urn from 1992 would not get over now. Period. Bray Wyatt would have gotten over in 92. This angle may have gotten over in 1992. We're in 2023. It is not going to get over. Well, at least with me. It's obviously it has gotten over with a lot of people, but for me, I'm done with it. It's boring. It's dumb. The Alexa part is what a waste of one of the most talented women wrestlers out there. Sorry. So, well, a few weeks ago, I had the honor of going down and checking out the Wrestling Collector down in Stockholm, New Jersey. So why don't we take a quick look at my visit to down there? Okay, and welcome back. Thank you, Tommy, for being so gracious. ISPW's next show is their Winter Warfare on January 20th. You can check them out at ispwwrestling.com. And so, what I have now is I wanted to talk about a little segment idea that I have that I want to give you guys a chance to interact with. So I want to put the thoughts in your head. So I want to do a segment where I take somebody, one wrestler, and book them in another wrestler's period. So, for instance, right now, what I want to do is I want to look at The Rock being booked in Hulk Hogan's career. So, what the ramifications would be, how it would look, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say. So, think about it like this way. So, we got The Rock in Rocky 3. You know, you would have, would you call it Rocky's Rockin' Wrestling? How about, could you imagine Hulk Hogan, or The Rock and Mr. T and all the jive that they'd be able to talk before WrestleMania 1? Hulk and T were awesome, but could you imagine The Rock doing it? The Rock against, Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3? Or how about the Rock in any of those legendary segments like The Body Shop or Piper's Pit, The Flower Shop? Could you imagine The Rock on the Brother Love show? How awesome would that have been? The banter, it would have been classic. It would have been great. How about The Rock booked as Hollywood Rock, the Hollywood Rock? So how would The Rock have done in Mr. Nanny and Hulk Hogan's horrible movie career there? How would the Rock have done in 2004 when he faced The Rock? Would it have been Hulk Hogan if we looked at it the opposite way and put Hogan in The Rock's career and The Rock in Hogan's career, and you got something that's even totally different there. So because then you could have Hulk Hogan as Flex Kavana. That would have actually worked. But once you got into the Rock in the Nation of Domination, could you imagine the Hulk in the Nation of Domination? That wouldn't have been so good. But anyway, I just want to put that thought in your head so we have some banter for next time. And I think I'm going to try and jump out of here. So in the honor of my friend Jimmy Pharaoh, how he gets out of there is later.